Well, we've got what I think is a very special guest. Not that all of our guests aren't special, but we have a situation in Tennessee. A young lady named Jenny Carlisle has recently died as a result of cancer. Jenny was pregnant at some point during her treatment for cancer and was being encouraged to have an abortion, refused to do so because of her belief in the pro-life ethic. And she eventually did die just a few weeks ago. And joining us now is her husband, Joshua, joining us from Tennessee. Hello, Joshua.
Hi, how you doing?
Just fine, sir. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm okay. Hanging in there.
Yeah. Well, we want to first extend our sympathies to you over the loss of your wife.
Thank you.
I'm sure this has been a very difficult situation for you. And no one, as I said a moment ago, everybody always says, well, I know how you feel. And really they don't. What they know is how they would feel if it happened to them, but nobody knows how you feel.
Yeah.
And, can you tell us a little bit about Jenny and about y'all's marriage, and you have other children, and what happened with Jenny?
Well, we have 4 kids, and Jenny was a very faith-filled person. Always looked at the bright side of things. She was very cheery, and she was always the one in our marriage that, I would get worried about things, and she'd say, "Don't worry, God will take care of it." And so along about a year and a half ago, we found out we were well, it's actually been about 18 months. No, it's been longer than that. About 2 years ago now, we found out we were pregnant again, and with our 4th child, with Gabriel, and found out that about 20 weeks into the pregnancy, found out that she had cancer. And it was the size, there was a tumor growing off of her ovary about the size of a softball. They had planned to remove it, and in about 4 weeks' time, it grew from the size of a softball to the size of a soccer ball. Wow. And it actually ruptured. And we had to have it surgically removed. And at that point, the doctors, actually the head doctor at Vanderbilt, over the high-risk obstetrics, told us that we needed to abort. And he tried to talk to us about ethics and how he sat on ethics committees, and that he was Jewish, and that he had read the Bible and all this stuff. And first he walked out of the room. For a split second, we said, what should we do? And then we both just looked at each other and said, that's not a choice. It's just not. How can we choose Gabriel's life over your life? We don't know. Yeah, he's, we have 3 kids now, but who's to say what he's going to be later in life? God's already got his plan, Gabriel's plan laid out. So we decided that it wasn't a choice. It wasn't even anything to even talk about. And we had some other doctors, talk to us about it, and actually some nurses too. But then we had people that along the way that God sent to encourage us, and we have a great church family that have encouraged us and helped us along the way, and it's been an incredible ride.
Did Jenny know that she was fatal?
Well, not at first. The doctors did say, at first the doctors were saying that yes, this would kill you if you didn't remove. Then they said, well, we can't say that it will kill you, but you're putting yourself in dire circumstances by not having an abortion. So we did not know that it was fatal until about last July. They thought the cancer had, they'd gotten rid of it, and they didn't. It just was, the cancer that she had did not show up on CT scans well at all, and it was a rare form of ovarian cancer, and so they could not tell by CT scans very well, and so we didn't find out until July, and they said that might be able to slow it down, but there's no way to stop it.
And so she died in February?
She died February 15th.
Joshua, I would like to know if, first of all, you had support from your extended family, parents and in-laws, for the decision that you made, and also I'd like you to tell us how Gabriel is.
Our immediate family, my mom and my dad and her mom and dad did. We had some grandparents and some other relatives that didn't see it that way and tried to, ask us why we were doing what we were doing, and you need to think about, your other kids, and we did think about that stuff, but it just was not a choice. And I think it's real interesting how that some people say, well, it was our choice to keep Gabriel. Well, it wasn't a choice at all. That's not how we viewed it. There was no choice involved. It was just how it was.
And Gabriel was in the womb while she had chemo, and he was fine, right? He was unaffected. Yeah,
she went through 5 rounds of chemo over about 4 months, and he, the molecules of the chemo that she had were large enough that they did not pass through the placenta, so he was never touched. So he came out. She had to have a C-section, hysterectomy, full debulking surgery, exploratory surgery, all at once, and he came out perfectly healthy. He was about 6 weeks early. They went to the well baby nursery and everything, so that was a total miracle. And the first half of that day that happened was great. The second half was not great, because that's when they came to me and told me that her cancer was a lot worse than what we had hoped.
Wow, that's a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Joshua, a lot of us in the pro-life movement talk and theorize about building a culture of life and the situations that we could perhaps come into and how to react to them. But Joshua, you have lived out this practice and you've put it into application. And to that, I can only say that your actions are heroic and are a forerunner of the things to come as we build this culture of life, as we vanquish this enemy that we call abortion. These actions are being looked upon and will be looked upon in the future as I said, a forerunner to the actions of principled and ethical people in the future. So I thank you.
Let me make a point here too. I think it's real important here. These people are saying you got to abort this baby. You got to kill your baby so that you'll survive. As it turns out, that wouldn't have made any difference in Jenny's situation. So now, instead of Joshua having a deceased wife and a living baby, he would have had a deceased baby and a deceased wife. Is that true, Joshua?
Well, I'm not 100%, because had they gone in and if we had gone ahead and said yes, abort the baby, they would have done a hysterectomy and a debulking surgery at that point, and they may have been able to catch it before it got any worse.
But there's no guarantee of that.
There's no guarantee, right? Exactly.
And when they say, what about the rest of your children? I'll bet you at some point, I don't know whether she said anything like this to you or not, Joshua, and we're out of time, but I'll bet you Jenny was thinking about, I'm thinking about the rest of my other children. I'm going to have to face them for the rest of my life saying I killed one of your siblings. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to face those children under those circumstances.
Right.
But Joshua, we're out of time, but I just want to say, again, how much we sympathize with you. But, when you think about the concept of a mother, that's what Jenny was. Mm-hmm. I often hear Dr. Laura say, most dogs and cats have more maternal instincts than human beings we see in this world. Mm-hmm. Jenny was a mom. This is what a mom does, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's
sacrificed.
I was just going to say, back just real quick that, that we just believe that, in following the Word the best we can, God's Word, and that the Word says that be doers of the Word and not hearers only. And so we just try to follow that, and it's sometimes it's very difficult, and a situation like this has been very difficult.
Well, I'd say nobody can ever question whether you follow her or not, or doer of the Word. Nobody in the rest of your life will be able to question that. Well, Joshua, God bless you, and we'll be praying for you, and we know you've got some challenges ahead, but you know, God's going to take care of you, and I know you believe that, and we believe that, and I just thank you for coming on and sharing what I know is a very difficult story for you.
Yeah, and I have a website. It's JennyCarlisle.com.
Right.
And there's a Caring Bridge site that's linked to that. You can kind of follow what has happened with her over the past few months.
Okay, and also people can make donations to help with your medical bills. Is that true?
Yeah.
And can they do that on that website?
Yes, or they can go into any AM South bank. They're in the South here, but
okay.
There's a link on that website as well. It's JennyCarlisle.com.
Well, you take care of yourself and take care of those 4 kids.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joshua, for being with us.
God bless.
Pretty amazing story. That's living the pro-life ethic. That's
right.
not talking about it.